Hello people, I'm TheRealComicBookGamer. Today I'm going to be talking about why people didn't like The Last Jedi. So obviously, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie, there's your spoiler warning. You have been warned. Anyways, let's get into it. The main reason I want to do this is because I see a lot of people building up strawmans as to why other people didn't like The Last Jedi, to make the people that didn't like The Last Jedi look stupid or something. Like Rian Johnson himself even did this. He tweeted about like this book that showed that was canon before The Last Jedi, showing about the force projections and stuff, to like prove those haters wrong that didn't like that Luke was able to force project. But I personally didn't have a problem with Luke force projecting. I had a problem with a ton of other stuff in the movie, but not that. And everyone that I know that didn't like the movie didn't have a problem with that. Like, their complaint wasn't, oh man, the movie would have been good if it weren't for Luke force projecting at the end. No one was really like mad that he had the ability to deal with that. No one was like, oh, that's stupid adding new force powers like that. Like, no one that I knew. Maybe there were some Twitter people online or something that were mad about it. I don't doubt that, but no one that I knew, and like, they must have been a vocal minority, because I have heard hardly anyone talking about that, saying they hated the fact that he had the ability to force project. That is now a thing in Star Wars. I heard hardly anyone saying that. And then I see a lot of other people building up strawmans being like, you need to subvert your expectations. That was your problem with the movie. It didn't go the way you expected. No, that's my problem with the movie, is the fact that it went exactly how I expected. The Last Jedi was incredibly predictable, and that was my big problem with the movie. I talked about it in a previous video where me and Slickmouth discussed Last Jedi, how this movie brought a lot of things to the edge of being interesting and different and unpredictable, and then just 180 and it went straight back to being safe and predictable. For instance, Leia's death. I did not see Leia dying within the first, like, what was like 10 minutes of the movie. I was like, holy crap, this movie's got balls. I did not see this coming. This is incredibly unpredictable. And then she just Superman's on out of there, and it's like, oh, it's back to just being, you know, very predictable. Oh yeah, Leia survived. Who would have thought? And you also got Rey and Kylo are exactly where they were when they started the movie, except just Snoke's gone. Because the big part of the trailers was, oh, it looks like Rey might join the dark side. Who knows? But I made a video talking about, like, doing a sort of trailer breakdown of one of the last trailer before The Last Jedi came out, talking about how they're trying to convince you that Rey's going to join the dark side, but you know she's not going to, because they just would never do that. That's just not Disney. They're not going to do that. And surprise, surprise, she didn't do it. They go to the edge of bringing it interesting. They kill Snoke together. They take down the Praetorian Guards. It looks like, hey, they might join forces, but nope. Then they just go back to being at square one, exactly where they were at the beginning of the movie. Rey is 100% pure and good Jedi, and Kylo is messed up weird Sith. And so they're exactly the same as they were at the beginning of the movie, except the fact that now Kylo's in the lead and Snoke's gone. That's it. So it went back to being incredibly predictable. If they joined forces there after killing Snoke, I never would have saw that coming. I would have been like, holy crap, I didn't think the movie had the guts to do this. Then you've also got stuff like, hey, you see Luke talking about how, hey, the Jedi are bad and the Sith are bad. Neither one of them are right. I figured it out after all this time. And it's like, oh, that's actually a pretty interesting concept. That's actually pretty cool. But then in the end, Luke's like, nah, Jedi are good, Sith are bad, and Rey's now the next Jedi. So yeah. So it went straight back to being predictable, and as it always was. It didn't change anything. Heck, before the movie even came out, I predicted exactly how Luke would be in this movie. The whole Luke being just this big guy that's just like, the Force is a bunch of BS, and the destiny doesn't mean nothing, and screw this, and he's just a cranky old man. I called this before a long time ago, saying he looks like he's gonna be this whole just cranky dude that talks about how destiny doesn't mean anything, and blah 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 blah, and he's all just like got his panties in a twist. And then Rey's gonna come in and end up like basically redeeming his soul and bringing him back to old Luke. That's pretty much what's gonna happen. She's gonna come in, Luke's just gonna be like, screw off and all this other stuff, and then he'll train her, but like against his will. Then she'll get caught or taken or whatever, like we saw at the end of the trailer, and Luke will come to save her, and that's when we'll get back to old Luke. That's when he'll be redeemed, and he'll see, oh wow, Rey was right, and Rey helped bring me back, and blah blah blah, and she's gonna be the big hero at the end of the day. That's how predictable this movie was. I predicted exactly how Luke was gonna go. And then you also have things like Luke's death, which was incredibly predictable. Luke shows up there. I mean, you know it's a force projection, but he shows up there on crate in front of all of them. Who thinks he's gonna survive? Show of hands. Yeah, no one thinks he's gonna survive. So when he's like, see you around, kid, it's like, holy crap, wait. Luke's actually gonna survive? I did not see that coming. I thought he was 100% dead. I thought Luke was done for. He's actually gonna survive, and then they kill him, and it's like, oh, it went straight back to being predictable and stupid again. It went straight, like, it brought it to the edge of being interesting, of, oh man, we're actually going to see more Luke. Luke's actually going to survive this encounter. This was a force projection. That's interesting. But then it's like, no, we're just going to kill Luke, because that's exactly what you thought was going to happen in this movie. the movie was way too predictable for my taste. Like everything, they were like, oh, we're going here's interesting, here's stuff in The Last Jedi. Oh no, we're just gonna go straight back to being exactly what you thought would happen, just straight back to it. So that's why I don't get the argument of, oh, you didn't like The Last Jedi because it didn't meet your expectations, it wasn't this, you need to subvert your expectations, it wasn't exactly what you thought it was going to be. My problem is that it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was a predictable, safe movie, just like The Force Awakens. So I hate about The Force Awakens. This movie did take a few more chances, but still, for the most part, it was incredibly predictable and very safe, and I hated that. Now, one of the few things that wasn't predictable that I loved was the fact that Rey's parents were nobodies, because I made 3 predictions in the theater right before the movie started with my brother Ian and another random dude that we were talking to that's sitting next to us. I said Rey is 100% a Skywalker. Obviously, I was wrong about that. I said Snoke was going to die and Luke was going to die. So 2 of my 3 predictions were right. But Rey I was wrong about, which I was so happy about. I was very happy that Rey was a nobody. So one of the few things I was surprised about, I actually liked in this movie, because I was like, hey, they didn't go the predictable Disney route. Granted, I still think that J.J. Abrams 100% intended for her to be a Skywalker, but Rian Johnson just changed that, and I'm happy he did. So I'm happy that she was a nobody, that was unpredictable, and I was happy about it. And it wasn't like very convenient, like, you know, Star Wars, oh, how convenient that this girl in this desert planet like Tatooine that they found just happens to be a Skywalker. How convenient, you know? So I'm happy that she's not a Skywalker, at least yet, because he did say in like some interview afterwards that her parents' like lineage or whatever is still open, so she could still somehow be a Skywalker or Kenobi or something. That'd be stupid. But anyways, that was one of the things that I liked, and one of the few things in the movie that surprised me. And then besides the fact that the movie was incredibly predictable, there were other huge things that I did not like with this movie. One of them was the fact that we had 2 storylines that no one gave any craps about at all. No one cared about Canto Bight or anything that happened there whatsoever. Rian Johnson, you want to rant about capitalism? Go do it on Twitter. Don't do it in the middle of my Star Wars movie, please. That is just, God, no one cares, man. No one cares. Even people who love this movie. Now, there'll be some fan that'll like be in the comments. They'll be like, I absolutely love the Canto Bight part. What are you talking about? But like 90% of even just like hardcore people that love The Last Jedi, that are big Last Jedi fanboys, will admit that, yeah, Canto Bight wasn't that good. It was definitely the weakest part of the movie. I didn't care for it. Because that scene with that whole sequence was so awful. They go and they save some horses and they leave the slave children. Like, what? Just everything that happens with Rose in this movie just proves how bad of a character she is. She's such an awful character. Oh, her sister goes and dies for the Resistance. Her sister was a badass. Her sister should have been the star instead of her. Well, should have taken her place. Her sister dies for the Resistance, doing what she believes in, and then later on in the movie, Rose is willing to sacrifice everything her sister did just to save her crush. Because if you look at it, Rose's sister died for the Resistance, died for the cause. Rose goes and is willing to sacrifice the entire Resistance, what her sister died for, to save Finn, because she wants to go and save her crush, and saving him will cause the Resistance to die, because they don't know that Luke is coming. So at that point, Finn was their only hope. So she thinks, so doing that will cause the entire Resistance to die, but don't worry, her and Finn are alive. So her sister's sacrifice was useless. Was pointless, was meaningless. She made it mean nothing. That's how bad of a character Rose is. But anyways, I've ranted about Rose enough, and just every time she was on screen is so bad. And then not only does she do that, she goes and she saves some horses, but looks at the slave children and is like, nah, I'm not gonna save them. Horses, you're good. Space horses, you can go. Now it's worth it. But slave children, nah, they don't need us. They'll be fine. Then you have the storyline with Poe, where I like the idea of it, the concept of turning Poe from just like a weapon, because that's basically what Poe was in The Force Awakens. You pointed him in the right direction and you shot, and that's what you did. That's all you did with Poe. So turning him from that into sort of a leadership role was interesting. That's what I wanted to see. Like, I thought, oh, that's cool. But from what I've heard from other people, they already did that, like in the Poe Dameron comics. I remember talking to the person that works at my comic shop, and they're like, they brought Poe back like 2 years in character development because the comics had already developed him way past this. But granted, you know, it is a movie, so they don't have to like keep in line with everything, but still, that's like Pablo Hidalgo's whole job, is to keep all that stuff in line. But anyways, I'm not gonna gripe it for not keeping up with the comics, especially since it's not that big of a deal, but still, that it bogged down the storyline big time, because none of it made sense what happened. Why doesn't what was her name, Haldo? I think that was her name, I don't remember. Purple hair lady. Why doesn't she just tell Poe what's going on? She just goes and she's a dick for no reason. He goes up to her and he's like, okay, what's the plan? She's like, I know flyboys like you. They get people killed or whatever she says. And it's like, why are you just being a dick? Like, why not just tell him? That's your best pilot right there. Yeah, he just screwed up, but you can tell him the plan. I don't get why you're just being a dick for no reason. It was so just stupid. But if you cut out Canto Bight and combine Finn and Poe and like make that their storyline, not Canto Bight, I'm talking about the whole rebellion thing, that'd be fine. You could switch that whole thing up with the tracker and all that and switch things. I'll do a video in the future talking about how I would have changed things, what things I would have changed to make them better, at least what I think would have made the movie better. So, but right now I'm not really gonna talk about any solutions to all this. But anyway, so yeah, you have the Finn Rose stuff that isn't interesting at all, and then the Poe stuff that's just interesting in concept but absolutely terrible in execution. It was done just awful. So like 50% of your movie is practically unwatchable because it's so boring and awful and just no one cares what's going on. The other 50% with the Rey and Luke stuff and Kylo and Snoke, I enjoyed most of that. I enjoyed a lot of that. But anyway, now let's talk about Luke, because that's a big part of what people did not like about this movie, myself included. Now, granted, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from Luke in this movie because of the fact that The Force Awakens set him up just terribly. The Force Awakens had already ruined Luke with what they did, where they already set him up to be a hermit for where he's gone for like 20 or 30 years, however long, on that island, just sitting there, just so stupid, doesn't line up with how Luke is at all. Oh, my aunt and uncle just got reduced to skeletons. They got burnt alive. Okay, I'll go and, you know, join the rebellion. Pony up. Oh, my mentor, my Uncle Ben, basically Uncle Ben. That's basically what Ben Kenobi was to him. He's dead now? Okay, I'm just gonna keep fighting even harder. Oh, I got my hand cut off and I found out, like, that's the second most evil guy in the galaxy is my father. Okay, I'm gonna fight even harder for the rebellion. And my best friend just got frozen in carbonite. I completely failed him when I was supposed to come in and save him. I completely failed. He went and got frozen in carbonite, captured, and returned to Jabba. I got my hand cut off, found out who my daddy is, and so now I'm just gonna go fight even harder. I'm gonna go save him. I'm gonna go and redeem my father and prove that he is actually still a good guy, that there's still good in him, even though he's the second most evil guy in the galaxy. I'm gonna go straight to that Death Star and do it. But no, now this Luke's like, oh, I failed my one apprentice and he killed some people? Oh man, I better go hide on an island for like 30 years. That might fix it. Oh man, oh boy, I need to go hide. That's how this Luke is. Went through all that crap in the original trilogy, but now this new Luke's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna give up. Even after all the crap I've been through, this one thing happened, I'm just gonna give up now. Bye, deuces, see you guys later. That's how this Luke is. It doesn't make any sense. See, what people don't get is the fact that character progression has to make sense. Otherwise, people will get angry. That happens a lot. It happened with Superman in the New 52. In the New 52 with Superman, in case you don't know, this thing called Superman Truth, where they buzzed Superman's hair off, they gave him a buzz cut, they gave him a t-shirt and jeans instead of his normal costume. He started cussing a lot more, he was banging Wonder Woman, he was a lot more rough around the edges, and everyone hated it. Everyone's like, what the hell have you done to Superman? What is this? This makes no sense at all. Bring back Superman. DC was like, okay, we're sorry. You're not buying our books anymore. You're telling us how much this sucks. We'll bring back pre-New 52 Superman. We are very sorry about that. We'll bring back classic Superman. But Lucasfilm does the same exact thing with Luke, where they're like, hey, remember that very hopeful, optimistic guy from the original trilogy that would never give up, and anytime a hardship fell upon him, he would just come back and fight even harder? Oh yeah, now he just gives up and cries. That's Luke's new thing. He just gives up. That's the new Luke way. That's why fans reacted the same exact way they did for Superman during Superman Truth. They're just like, what? This doesn't make any sense. This is like a whole new character. Even Mark Hamill said it. He's like, that's Jake Skywalker. I don't want to hear any of that. Well, Mark Hamill said on Twitter he was wrong. Yes, I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill was very moved by Disney's lawyers that were like, hey, shut up or we are going to just destroy you. I'm pretty sure he was very moved by the Disney lawyers' words. But most of the stuff with Luke in the movie was the better stuff in the movie. It could have been done much better, but again, there wasn't a whole lot to work with from The Force Awakens. So yeah, I just want to make a video telling people what the actual problems with The Last Jedi are, not these made up ones like, oh, it didn't meet your expectations, it didn't go the way you thought it would go. oh, you were mad that Luke could force project. No one was mad about that stuff. Like, I don't get what you're talking about. So I want to lay out some actual reasoning as to why people don't like this movie. At least this is why I don't like the movie, and this is why I know a lot of people that I know don't like the movie. But yeah, please let me know in the comments below what were your thoughts on The Last Jedi. I really want to hear if you liked it or not, and why you liked it or why you didn't like it. I know I didn't aim everything. I've already did like a 30-minute spoiler talk on The Last Jedi, so I wanted to make this a bit shorter, and I still have some more Last Jedi videos to go. I would have talked about this stuff earlier, but I didn't want to spam you guys with Last Jedi videos because I already made a ton, but I still have more stuff I want to talk about with this movie because there is definitely a lot to talk about. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.